What up, what up, what up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of KM Videos, True Stories. Welcome to another episode, KM Videos, True Stories.
This is a story of Bang's dog. For the dog that tells this tale will be busy.
Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay. Bow, bow.
Yeah, this is a story of Bang's dog.
Today I'm going to change the pace a little bit and give you a pit bull story. We're talking about 1990, back when there was the LA Raiders and they had Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson in the backfield. This is when Bo Jackson got hurt. This is when Michael Vick was 10 years old, about 17 years before Peter got on Michael Vick for fighting pit bulls.
Yeah, this is a story of Bang's dog.
I take my brother's Regal, and I think he might have been doing a violation or something, but I take my brother's Regal and I take Rosco with me to put some clothes in the cleaners. The cleaners was located something like 62nd and Vermont, between 62nd and Gage on Vermont. For those that's not from LA, that's borderline 59 Hoover, borderline 6 Deuce Brim. So I go in the cleaners, Rosco stays in the car, he ducks down so nobody recognizes him, because Rosco knew a lot of people from YA, and he knew he was out of bounds. Plus he had that spot not too far from there a year or two earlier. Now, I was driving down Hoover Street North, headed to the house one afternoon. As I crossed 65th Street, I see a group of guys to my left. Automatic assumption is those are Hoovers, possibly Menlos, possibly Brims. So I'm looking. And I spot the homie Rosco and his brother-in-law Warren from the east side on Paloma between Jefferson and King Boulevard. So I bust a U-turn in the middle of Hoover Street. And they looking a little bit paranoid, trying to see who I am. I pull over to the curb, I jump out. What's up, nigga? We greet each other, we hug each other, because I hadn't seen Rosco since 83, maybe 84. So I go in, give him my clothes, and I come back out. And I see Rosco looking around the corner. And I'm like, what's wrong, homie? I'm like, you all right? Yeah, oh, I was just looking at that pit bull. So I'm looking, and I see this white pit bull. And I say, that raggedy ass pit bull? He say, shit, nigga. All you gotta do is put some car oil on that pit bull and give him some food, he'll love you for life. I'm like, man, you crazy. He like, no, for real. And I gotta remember, Rosco was an East Side kid. You know, on the East Side, they did things differently than we did on the West Side. Like on the West Side, we would probably go get some dog mange or take this dog to the hospital to see what we can do about his skin, because he was missing hair on his back. His back was pink, had like some pink rough skin. And so I'm back up and I'm pulling off down Vermont. I'm headed towards Slauson on Vermont. And Rosco say, you want that dog? I said, nah, I don't want him, man. Raggedy looking dog. He's like, man, I'm telling you, you take him home, you feed him. I get him, cuz. I'm like, go ahead. So Rosco opens up the door. Rosco, come here. Because me and Rosco wasn't really scared of dogs. And Rosco said, come here. And the dog comes slowly to the door. Rosco step his foot out the door and his arm out the door. And the dog growl at him and bark at him. And Rosco jumps back in the car. And I said, fool, you can't mess with that dog. And Rosco said, shit, watch. So Rosco opens up the door again. He's like, come on. I said, no, I got a better idea. Shut the damn door and we're going to take off. Just call the dog. And if the dog comes with you, then I know the dog is messing with us. So Rosco has the window down, has his arm out the window. And he's calling and whistling at the dog, and the dog follows us. He's on the side of us. He's running. He's getting down. And Rosco, and we stop at a red light. And Rosco said, cuz, I'm telling you, you feed that dog, he's gonna love you. So Rosco has this bottle of water. Roscoe pours some water out the window, and the dog is right there drinking the water. So he say, put the dog in the car. I'm like, nigga, I am not putting that dog in my brother's car, man. That nigga see this dog here, he gonna go crazy. And I'm not cleaning up the car either. So I take off, and Roscoe keep calling the dog. So we go all the way to Slauson. Then we shoot all the way up Slauson. Slauson is a busy street. And this dog is on the side of us, just running his ass off, running all the way up past Crenshaw, past West Boulevard to my house.
Yeah, this is a story of famous dog.
And we get to my house. Of course, by now, the dog is sloppy tired. The dog is super tired. So we get out the car, and I take him to my water hose in the front yard, give him some water, and then I take him in the backyard, put him on a chain, I chain him up. Then I go buy him some food. And Roscoe tells me, go get some car oil. I'm like, for what? He like, that car oil, man, it's gonna have him right. So we go buy some car oil, some Pennzoil. We come back, Roscoe puts the Pennzoil on the dog, rubs it on his back. The dog is kind of feeling it like a human massage. He's feeling good. You can tell the dog is, you know how dogs look sometimes where it look like they're smiling? This dog was happy, like he was in heaven. Mind you, my mother got this Chow. She had just bought this Chow with my brother's money when he got locked up. And the Chow is the love of her life. She loves this Chow. Big fluffy haired Chow. And the Chow gets to come in the house sometime, stay in the backyard sometime, but the Chow always gets loose. He finds a way to get out. So sometimes we keep the Chow chained up. Smart ass Chow too. The Chow was so smart, we had this iron gate that we never locked. The Chow would stick his hand in between the screen and whatever you would call them little things that go around the screen, and he would pull the door open whenever he wanted. Then we had a wooden door. He couldn't knock, but he would try, and he would scratch the door. He hit his paws on the door and start scratching. The wooden door was scratched up real bad because the Chow was always scratching to get in. So he would scratch when he wanted to get in. He'd go in the kitchen when he was hungry. And he would play you by laying on the floor and hope that front door opens so he could run out the front door. That was his game. He was good at that. So back to the pit bull. I take Roscoe's advice and I put the pit bull in my brother's Rico in the back seat. And I'm going to Cal's house to see what's up with a crap game. And Cal has this pit bull, a red-nosed pit bull, pretty ass dog. This dog had like some gold color or some light hazel eyes. It was off the hook, nice dog. The dog was young, probably close to a year. He wasn't a full year yet, probably 10 or 11 months. So he was still growing. He was a nice size, but he hadn't reached his potential growth yet. And I get to Cal's house, I get the dog out the car, I got this big chain on the dog. And Cal smiles and asks me, what am I doing with that mutt? I'm like, shit, I just picked him up. Me and Roscoe picked him up from the Brims. He like, man, get rid of that dog. I said, nah, I just got him. I'm gonna see what he do. Cal say, he can't fight. I said, shit, your dog can't fight. He said, shit, my dog fight. I'm like, man, your dog too little. He like, let him out. All right, let yours out. I'm at Cal's house thinking, I'm not finna be buying motor oil for a dog all the damn time. Like, I barely put oil in my car. I haven't even gave the dog a name yet. This dog ain't got no name. Like, I don't even know what to call the damn dog. So I just say dog. So I take the chain off of the dog. Cal brings his dog out the backyard. My dog rushed Cal dog. Immediately off the top, grab his front leg and breaks it. I'm talking about that's the first thing he did. Rush the dog, grab the leg, and break the leg. You can hear it break. So the dog can't really fight. He's at a disadvantage, and my dog is just mauling his dog. His dog is bleeding like hell. And I'm like, that's enough, that's enough. So I get my dog off of him, and Cal said, fuck it, cuz, dog is dead. Like, should have had better squat. I'm like, man, I feel bad, Cal. That wasn't the right thing to do. Cal like, I want him to fight. If he can't fight, forget it. All right, I still feel bad. So I take my dog home. I drove away from Cal's house feeling like I had a cold killer on my hands. Now I take the dog back to the house, and he got to live in the backyard with my mother's child. So I come home one day, because I let the pit bull have a lot of leeway on the chain, and the child had a lot of leeway. That way they could still kind of roam the yard, they could use the bathroom, and they could keep people out the backyard. So when I come home, the pit bull and the child are going at it. I mean, they are going at it. And the child was hanging. Like, I'm surprised. If you were a dog owner or a dog fighter, you probably wouldn't be surprised. But I was surprised. The child was hanging with the pit. And the pit locked on the child's neck. But the hair was like in his nose and mouth. And so he had to let the child go. He get the child again, grab a patch of hair out the child, slams the child on the ground. The child was out cold. He's not moving or nothing. I'm like, damn, and mom comes home. So I'm gonna just go ahead and not beat around the bush with her. I go straight in there and tell her, Mom, my pit bull kills your child. And she like, boy, you crazy. She think I'm playing. I'm like, no, for real, Mom. She said, boy, that child better not be dead. So I'm like, damn, child was dead. So I walked in the backyard to make sure the child was dead so I could show my mama. And the child jumps up off the ground. So I guess he knocked him out. Unless he knew how to play possum, he did a great job. So the child gets up. The child's ear is bent now, permanently bent from the pit bull. So now I got to keep the pit bull away from the child. Mom ain't gonna let me live here. She might not even let me live if anything happens to this child. Now a couple months go by, and this dog back has fully healed. The dog has hair now, and it's nice, pretty looking hair. And the dog is trained. I didn't have to train it, just kind of gave it a refresher course. It was already trained. Good dog, man, very obedient. Like, he didn't give me no problems, like no problems. And so when I would be messing with my car and stuff like that, I would let the dog out in the driveway just so he could get a little breathing room and stuff. He would never take off. He'd try to creep to the front grass. I'd be like, come back. He'd come back. So, good dog. Type of dog you want to keep for life. Man's best friend. So it was this one guy, reminds me of a police, a black dude. In shape, thin guy. But I didn't know him. And I pretty much knew everybody in that neighborhood. I mean, if I didn't know you, I knew of you. I've seen you before, right? Especially if you're walking around the school across the street. So this guy is always walking his dog, and in my mind, he a police, he a undercover or something. Or he just nosy as hell. So this guy comes walking up the street one day when I got the pit bull out. But because I'm working on the car, I don't really recognize that he has his Rottweiler, and he's very close to me. So when I see my dog looking, I grab my dog and I'm pulling him. Now my dog done built up some strength. He's pretty strong now. And the dude with the Rottweiler says, let him go. I said, no, you don't want me to let him go. He said, no, let him go. So I'm telling you, you don't want me to let my dog go. And you know how I am, I'm married, so I'm trying to explain to him, I don't want to let him go. Yo, I don't know what the hell's going on with my sound right now. Dude wants me to let the dog go, and I'm telling him it's not a good idea. Dude is calling out my dog. He doesn't understand. This pit bull has stamina, agility, a master grip, heart. He got it all. Masculinity. He's the full total package. A Rottweiler is kind of too big, and he probably wasn't fighting that Rottweiler. If he did, it probably was against his siblings, right? Bad mistake. So being that I'm Aries, I get upset. And I say, all right, and I let the dog go. The dog rushes across the street and attacks the Rottweiler. He gets his front leg and he breaks it. He grabs his other front leg and he breaks it. This big old, pretty looking, poor Rottweiler is fighting on his hind legs, face down, and my dog is just tearing him up. My dog grabs him and drags him around this car and up under the car. And I look at the owner, I'm like, man, that's what you wanted? He like, man. I'm like, that's what you wanted. I was hoping dude didn't try to sue me, ask for no money or nothing. And the Rottweiler's bleeding like hell. Rottweiler's puddles of blood. I don't even think the Rottweiler's gonna live. It was so much blood, and you might think I'm lying, so I'm gonna just say it appeared. It appeared the dog lost weight. All bullshit aside, it looked like the dog wasn't as big when the fight began. Dude, in fact, I don't know how much the Rottweiler weighed when the fight started, but dude picked the Rottweiler up and he carried the Rottweiler home. He came back by the house some time later and told me that he took his dog to the hospital and he had to put the dog down. But I'm like, man, why did you want me to let my dog go? Like the arrogance of an owner. And I felt bad for him, but I didn't really feel bad for him. But this is how I lose my dog. I had this nosy neighbor. He lived one house away from me. Very nosy. He used to tell some of my friends, parents, that I was participating in illegal activities. And so he comes out the house, he's getting in his truck. He had a pickup truck. And I'm staring at him and he's staring at me. And I tell the dog, sick him. And the dog takes off. Dude done started his car already and made a U-turn, headed towards Slauson. And the dog chased him. And I never seen the dog again. The dog never came back. And that was the last of that dog. His name, Dillinger. I would estimate the dog was about 3 years old because he had a lot of spunk in him, trained. Good dog though. Today's lesson, be careful what you ask for. And that's going to do it for today's episode of KM Videos True Stories. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and leave a comment. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Maybe I'll do a pigeon story next. Maybe I can dig up a pigeon story. But that's it for today, man. Y'all take it easy. Much love. Salute.